Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we spray trumpet spit in the face of the film Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, 1 minute at a time. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm the Admiral, Pete Mummert.
I'm the intern, Gerry Porter.
I'm just Christy. Hi.
There's no such thing as being just Christy.
No.
Yes, it confuses everybody.
I didn't know we had a thing there.
Did she get demoted? Was she stripped of her credentials? No. Yeah, her rank.
Well, wait a minute. I feel like we have a bugle in this moment. We should have a fanfare. Dun da da da. Yeah.
Wow.
And joining us today is Professor Christy Porter.
That's right.
Behind those 7 curtains that are parting and rising, and there she is. Welcome back, Christy.
Thank you.
You're our good friend and colleague, and you're the 4th Beatle, and
True.
And we're glad to have you here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
For as long as we can have you.
Thanks.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, look at this. We're here for minute 11 of Last Crusade, which begins with Indy running to the bed and breakfast that he runs with his dad. And it ends with the sheriff saying that he's glad to see that Indy still has the Cross of Coronado.
So, the Jones family, they're not a mow your lawn type of family here.
No.
Is that right? Is
No.
that, yeah.
They're more of a mow your dirt kind of family.
Right.
There's no lawn.
Yeah, they have this sort of unmanicured sagebrush front lawn, which does that make sense?
And it reminds me of home. It does. Jerry, you'll relate.
It does. No, that's why I love it. It's wanted to be Indiana Jones since I never mowed a lawn.
There you go.
Well, could that be like in Arizona and stuff, you won't have like a lawn, you'll have gravel or sand or something.
Lava rock.
Could it be just sort of like a scrubby...
And I think it's partially that he just moves around so much. Like, I think they just moved here so he could teach at whatever Colorado College or wherever they say he's teaching.
You think so?
Do we actually know that?
Well, that's like backstory.
Well, if Pete said it, it's got to be
Now,
true.
Pete, is it Pete backstory, did you read this?
Like Indiana Jones wiki backstory.
Okay, so same thing.
Yeah.
Can someone tell me, without spouting off some weird Wikipedia drivel and nonsense, why does Indiana Jones live in Utah?
Yeah, well, I'm guessing. I mean, if I were even not looking at that, I would just be guessing that that's where his dad got a teaching position.
Where would that be though? Like what? Apologies to Utah. I just don't know it for.
It'd be like southeastern Utah State or like Moab City College.
I mean, I guess if Indiana Jones, the world's eminent archaeologist, ends up at Marshall College, which no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, but his dad's not an archaeologist.
Well, that's the
that's
first...
true. That's true.
Yeah, Are we sure his dad's a professor?
Not at this point.
Didn't they call it? Wasn't he Professor Jones in the credits? And he's a doctor. They call him Dr. Jones.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
But he could be a podiatrist.
Yeah, that's clearly what he is. He's a
That'd be great.
Yeah.
That's one of the questions I'm going to have in my head the entire time we do this movie is what else could Indiana, not that I have any problem with Henry Jones, but who else, like when they're sitting at the table, just spitballing it, like who is Indiana Jones's dad? Like he could have been anybody. Like he could have been a podiatrist. He could have been, a school teacher. He could have been a gym coach. He could have been like an army dude.
Moab School of Podiatry. There you go.
Right.
Well, all those things are getting cut down. Those other possibilities are cut down like with a scythe, because we see right here that Indiana Jones grew up in Utah.
Right.
And I'm just asking if
we don't know if he grew up there.
He grew up there.
Yeah, we don't know if we just know that he's there now. We don't know how long he's been there. We don't know any of that.
Sure, but I mean that's his house.
It says Jones on the mailbox.
Yeah, that's his
That's his house. Yeah, but we don't know if he's been there for a year. And it's written in like Comic Sans font. That bothers me so much.
Bugs Bunny's going to hit his head on that when he's tunneling.
No, not Bugs Bunny. Snoopy in Woodstock. Woodstock's going to come out of that mailbox.
No dogs allowed.
It's not. It's just not right.
In an earlier version of of these scripts, their mom was actually alive.
What?
Or Indy's mom was alive and lived in the house.
Oh, you're freaking me out.
Really?
First of all, she would have mowed the lawn. Second of
Yeah.
all, she would have gotten a real mailbox.
Yeah, I wouldn't have said, Jones and Comic Sans.
Yeah.
Was there a scene where she leaves her ears to Indiana?
Gross. With a bony finger?
Yeah. Dig up mom and put it on her bony ear.
Oh, dear.
Trade you.
Disgusting.
That's not very
Oh, wait,
nice
you know what?
either.
Wait a second. There's something here.
Uh-oh.
Oh, wait a
Uh-oh.
minute.
Don't open it.
It's a little carrier pigeon.
Oh, my God.
Oh, well, here it is. It's from the intern's intern. Hang on a
Oh.
second. I think there's a little discussion here. Let me open this. Okay.
How did he
Little
do
note
that?
from the intern to Indiana Jones should live in Rochester, New York.
Sure.
Okay.
Agreed.
I'm cool with that.
Agreed. I can't argue with that for a minute.
Oh wait, I need to turn. I'm turning it over. Rochester, New York, because it has that East Coast thing. Shut up, Tommy. And it is
Wait a
close to the big city.
Rochester actually makes a lot of sense to me. So that actually would have made more sense to me than wherever the hell he is right now. But here's the thing. So what do we know about this guy just sitting at his desk? What do we know?
He sounds like James Bond.
Well, we're introduced to him, and
Yeah.
you know, he's up to something. He's got a little moleskin notebook there,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he's right-handed. And
Well, actually, can I jump back 1 second before
yes,
we're introduced to
yes.
him? We're also introduced to a nice husky who barks when Indiana runs through. And I was
Yeah.
wondering, is that Indiana?
Well, I think it should be.
Probably, yeah. I
Yeah.
assume so.
Do you think Fedora had a dog named Fedora? Like, do you think that's why Indiana decided to name himself after the dog?
Oh, what if... I had a note that the dog looked a lot like the dogs in The Thing. And it just occurred to me, maybe like the dog actually takes over this kid and becomes Indiana Jones. And that's who Harrison Ford is in the rest of the movie.
Why, Tommy, that's just silly.
It is silly. I'm sorry.
There's no question at all that that's the dog Indiana. And the
Yeah.
reason we know that is because they shoehorn every possible Indiana Jones hint and
Backstory.
reference
Right.
and
It's true.
Raiders reference into the first 12 minutes here.
But this is a pre-hint. We don't know that gag yet. This is
Yeah,
a
that's
setup
true.
that we're not going to
It
get until
doesn't
next
matter.
time
They're
we see
still
the movie.
shoving it down and shoving it down and shoving it down. And I'm
Yeah.
sure somewhere, like Katanga lives at the end of this town, too.
They live on Katanga
know.
Street, sure.
Yeah, they live on Katanga Street, and
Yeah.
But see, I don't
playing with a
mind
toy
this because they don't actually say that this is Indiana, so I don't mind this one.
No, it's not.
Sure.
If this was in Indiana Jones 4, that'd be weird.
Well, I
You'd be
would
like,
really
okay, we
prefer
get it.
that the dog is named something like Max.
Yeah, this might be Max. Indiana might have passed on a couple of years ago.
I forget what...
Well, that's just sad.
George Lucas had a very specific dog named Indiana. And I forget if it was this kind of dog or not. It was also the same dog that he kind of based Chewbacca on.
What?
Yeah.
Everyone's yelling at me because I should be nerd enough to know exactly the breed of dog it was. Oh, he said it was an Alaskan Malamute. Why do I
There you
remember
go.
that? Oh
That's
my
what
God.
that is.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's what this is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this might be an Alaskan Malamute, actually.
It's a nice dog, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
I
Super
like it.
nice dog.
I like
Yeah,
to
he's-
tackle it.
Friendly, yeah. Okay, sorry to interrupt you, Christy. So
Not
you
at
were-
all.
You were
Oh, yeah.
talking about what do we know about this man here in the red cardigan and pinstriped shirt and bow tie?
Well, that's all we know, right? He's right-handed. He
Right.
writes in a little tiny notebook just like Indiana Jones. And what's he looking at?
What he's looking at bugs me.
He's looking at a manuscript, right? Medieval manuscript?
Well, they seem to imply it's a medieval manuscript, but it looks like a 1980s coloring book drawing.
It does. Or even like color forms or something.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
It's
even
all
got like
pasted
little,
together.
Oh my gosh,
yeah, it's like
you're
got
like so
pieces.
hurting my feelings here.
Well, if you look at it, it's not exactly the Book of Kells.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean.
It does.
Yeah.
It's-
And the Wikipedia thing says it was a parchment found in a secret hiding place in Hagia Sophia from the 13th century, but there's no way. Like
Yeah.
that absolutely does not look like any medieval.
I think it was found in the Lucasfilm prop shop.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, it's not a very good whatever it is.
And my OCD is going nuts because the drawing that Henry Sr.'s doing of it does not match the picture.
That makes me
adding
crazy.
Architectural elements, and they're in different places.
Yeah. This is what he's going to base all his research on for the rest of his life, and it's wrong.
Yeah, they're going to be digging in the wrong place. Like he's not getting it right.
Well, yeah, there is actually a lot that's upsetting me about this particular couple of seconds here, and here's why. So I happen to really, really geek out about over those manuscripts and Kells and the Lindisfarne Gospels and the imaginary bestiaries and all this sort of stuff. Like, I can't even control myself. So I'm going to say right now that he's not at Rochester because he didn't get tenure. And he didn't get tenure because he's putting all his little pity paws all over whatever this is. There's no way that a self-respecting amateur would be putting his greasy mitts all over it, no matter how goofball it is. Even if it is stupid, it's the best one he's going to ever get near because he's not going to go to special collections anymore because they tossed his ass out.
And look at the way he's got his dusty books stacked on those shelves. Like, he is not taking care of those at all.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
It's making me nuts.
It's supposed to be, charming, absent-headed, genius egghead, but it's, with this kind of stuff, you're like, no. You're getting peanut butter all over everything,
Exactly.
and that's not okay.
You might as well, hock a loogie on it.
Yeah.
It's not very
I think he doesn't have tenure. You're right, Christopher. I think he doesn't have tenure because he thinks this Hasbro coloring book is actually the Book of Kells. And they're like, how'd this guy get in here? Well, what's going on? I mean, I don't think he talked his way in. Like, we hired him as one of those nepotism things. Let me ask you, Christopher, I mean, you know bad professors. You know lousy professors. What do they do with them there in academia?
Well, they don't give him tenure. That's for one. And
you're exiled to Utah?
Yes, that's exactly it. You go into a vacuum tube, and it just sends you out right to the desert.
Doesn't sound so bad.
Apologies to our Utah listeners. Utah's a very nice place.
It's a lovely place. It's a lovely place. What might have happened that maybe he had the two-body problem, and his mom was actually the person that they hired for tenure track, and then she died, and then they're like, so sorry, without her, you're like a one body, and you're just a problem.
Wow.
I like that. I like that,
yeah.
Well, it's only because I'm really ticked off at the way he's treating that book. So
yeah,
sure.
I too.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
There is something that I do love about this scene, though.
What's that?
Mm-hmm. Especially after, we've gotten this whole, bullet point list of snakes and whips and chin scars and everything, like all the, surface bullet points of Indiana Jones' origin story. But now finally, we actually get an actual, relatable human, this is how human beings develop. We see this kid with his dad, who's just, he couldn't care less about what's going on with his kid. He just wants him to count in Greek to 20, and he's not listening to him. And this is parent-son interaction that's actually going to develop into a person that we know as Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would rather watch 20 minutes of this than, the action figure of Indiana Jones has a scar and it has a whip and it has a snake thing, a fetish or whatever and stuff. And
it's being Spielberg, it's a little surprising we didn't get 20 minutes of this.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We definitely could have.
Right.
And I love this line, though, too, when he says, may he who illuminated this illuminate me. I love that he's just got this insatiable quest, thirst for trying to find out the truth or something.
Or he's talking to the lighting guy, as the shot is being done. It's good on the book, but can you see me? Is this good?
Yeah.
I really like that he makes Indy count to 20 in Greek because it's foreshadowing of an obstacle course. It's like you rush in here and you have something that you want to do and there's something you're trying to attain or even something you're trying to show your dad, but it's just not that easy. There's a crucible you have to get through first. And that's counting to 20 in Greek. In this household at least. And I had a question for you, Tommy. What do you say when your son runs up to you and says that they have something very important to tell you?
You know what? I put down my phone, but then I keep my hand on it just in case something interesting pops up, and I can go to it kind of under the table, while he's talking to me. Hopefully, just kind of dotting my eyes down so I can just read without him noticing. But I feign total and absolute attention to my son.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, this is like I keep thinking like if Indiana ran in and blurted like, Dad, I'm holding the cross of Coronado, and these guys are chasing me, and I think they're trying to kill me. Like, would his dad still have been like, Greek 20?
I think he would, yeah.
Like, would he have been like, oh, my son, come here, you're troubled, or would he be like, up, 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 up? And I kind of think he would be like, up, 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 which is infuriating. I don't like it so far.
No, but it's a great line, and it's a great character development, and that was all Tom Stoppard. That was one of the things he came in and punched up the script.
Interesting.
The Greek part was all him.
Wow.
Well, all right.
That works.
Yeah.
Now, do you think that? Do you really think that if he had run in and said, "Dad, you got to pay attention to me because I've got this thing and it's like a thing," and Monty Burns is outside because that's what that car looks like to me, and I'm being chased and I was on a train with snakes and all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, I'm afraid of snakes now, Dad.
Yeah, clearly. So you really think that his dad wouldn't have said, "Give me that cross"? I think he would have said, "Give me that cross."
No, I think
he might. You know what? He would have said, "Give me that cross," and then he would have close the door on your way out. Like he doesn't give a hoot about.
I don't even think he would have. I don't think he's listening to anything his son's saying. I think he's so engrossed in what he's doing. He's just like, "Don't interrupt me." I told you.
Yeah, he might have said, "You just made me write Cross of Coronado in my book. Damn it."
Yeah.
And obviously, it's a book of Kells. So my question is, does this kid not know his father? To begin to go run, if he's going to go running in, he actually ought to be screaming something like "Fire! Fire! Fire! Cross of Coronado."
Right.
Well, he's got a giant grin on his face, like he's so hopeful that this time his dad's going to listen to him and be proud.
Well, right. I think that illustrates exactly that this kid doesn't know his father because I think his father is unknowable. Or at least he's unreachable, clearly. I mean, the only thing you know about him is he's unreachable. So even when you come in, Dad, 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 with the cross of Coronado, it doesn't matter. And even when you double down and go, Dad, this is important, now it's Greek.
Huh.
It's not even just count to 20. Yeah. It's count to 20 in Greek. Like, he doubled down and said, but this is important. And then his dad said, no, I'm raising you, and I'm winning. Yeah. Do it in Greek.
Yeah,
and do it in the closet.
Do it,
Do it in front of the Jesus with the glowing eyes.
Ugh. Does this guy does this guy know exactly what the Cross of Coronado is? Yes, he knows what it is academically. The 15-year-old, he knows what it is academically.
We posited that he made it up because there is no cross. I mean, it's impossible for his story doesn't check out. So I say he made it up, and not only did he make it up, I bet he was like sits around the dinner table and he's like, Dad, I'm gonna find the Cross of Coronado, and his dad's like, there's no such thing as the Cross of Coronado, and so he's like every day he runs in, he's like, Dad, I've got the Cross of Coronado.
Instead of the bugler, he needed Pete for like a best friend. To like tell him all these things when he was growing up.
Listen, we all need Pete for a best friend.
It's true. I'm hoping for Christmas.
What if he had run in saying like, Dad, Jesus is here. Jesus, he's in the front yard. He's got the holy chalice with him. Dad. Maybe that would have gotten his attention.
I don't think anything would have reached him.
Huh.
I don't think that's the point. Nothing would have reached him because the kid just showed up with like this insanely amazing archaeological find, and none of that matters at all.
Right.
Oh, I just had a terrible thought.
Uh-oh.
What's that?
This and again, this is like, but this is actually solid like origin story stuff. This scene, because then, and years later, we get Indy flatly ignoring Short Round when Shorty's like trying to talk to him about serious, deep, actual, vital, immediate stuff.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
Indy gives him a little chin chuck.
Oh, that's just sad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really sad. That's exactly.
We do model our parents' behavior.
But that's what happens. That's origin stories.
Yeah.
That makes me want to not do any more minutes. Just kidding.
Anything Fairfield.
Well, you made me want. You know what does make me want to do minutes is thinking of Pete being my best friend, and then also thinking about Baby Porkins here, and he's Indy's best friend, and he's slathered in maple smoked bacon grease.
Yeah. And again, he's right off of a Saturday Evening Post cover.
Oh my God!
He's got the rosy cheeks and the
totally, and I'm I ain't just whistling Dixie here, Chris.
No,
That guy looks exactly like one of us.
it's true.
Baby
I know.
Porkins looks like one of
I
us.
know,
Like
he's
he's
not even like a second cousin, like a first cousin.
He's the lost Porter. Yeah.
he's
the
like
lost
he could
piece.
be our sibling.
I know.
I'm wearing my winter jacket indoors, guys.
Exactly.
I'm all sweaty.
It totally sucks.
How many times do you think he blew that bugle in a living room? Like many times.
Yeah.
It's like a thing with
Honey,
him.
we're eating dinner.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know what's awful here? He actually wins. This is Baby Porkins winning.
Yeah.
This is him
Yeah.
winning. It said, "Go get the sheriff."
He got the law.
Yeah, he's arriving with him, and he's got the trumpet fanfare, and he's saying, "Look, I'm here, and I'm on time, and I did it all. It's perfect."
Yeah.
Like this is aces for him, and yet spittle flies out of his mouth, and
Well, is this why Indy never trusts his assistants later? Like he's like, even
Yeah.
when they do what I tell him, it's not going to work out.
Right. Just get spit in the face.
Yeah.
yeah,
Which is too bad though, because he does exactly what
Yeah.
Indy commands him to do.
yeah.
I'm sad. But is this the first, we've got 3 movies now. Is this the first time that the sort of cold open adventure actually has stuff that ties to the rest of the movie?
Huh.
Beyond like character, like introducing, like we meet Belloc in the beginning of Raiders. We meet Willie at the beginning of Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
But like we actually have this important prop that's going to play into the rest of the movie.
Well, in Raiders, we get the fear of snakes that will come back later. And we get
That's
Belloc.
true.
We get Belloc taking something from him.
But it's not like it's not like the idol though, like shows up later in the movie or something.
That's
or
true.
Or the
That's true.
diamond or anything
That's
like
right.
that.
Give it time.
Maybe that's
Give
what I'm
it
saying, like the
time.
actual object.
Yeah. The red dress shows up later, though.
It's true. I mean, Willie herself shows up later.
Well, yeah. In a dress.
She's still in the movie.
It's true. It's true. I thought it was remarkable how unsmudged or rumpled he was after crawling around on the top and bottom of a train and so forth. He's really quite pressed.
He's a little grubby, wasn't
No.
he?
No.
He's sort of sweaty and
Well, sweaty, yes.
I mean,
but
that's the charm of River Phoenix. That's his charm. He just
Clothes just won't rumple on him.
glows no matter what. Yeah, I mean, you could drop that guy in the La Brea tar pits and pick him back
Yeah.
up. He's going to be glowing and clean.
Dry
Yeah.
cleaned. Yeah, sure.
Let me ask you guys this: is there anything about Indy's childhood home here that we see? We see his childhood home. Is there anything about his childhood home that actually reminds us of his Marshall College home?
I think it does a lot. I think just the very general, like the sort of closeness and the tones, the colors. Mm-hmm. I think that kind of,
The veneer of academia.
yeah.
I'm going to go with no. Nope.
That's what I was getting at. No. Wait, what? Oh.
Nope, not in the least. No.
Why not?
Well, there's nothing that suggests, that smoking jacket. I don't think that's what Dr. Jones Sr. is wearing. I think he's wearing basically a shawl. It's grubby. It's hot. It's not refined. It's not taking care of the things.
But Indy's place is pretty, not shabby, but kind of haphazard. Kind of, he doesn't have a bedroom. He's got like a closet in the dining room. And
Well,
stuff.
it does have a closet in the dining room, but no, he's got inset lighting to light up like masks in his bookshelves and
that's
stuff.
True.
That's true.
So
He's a nerd.
But his
is a nerd.
dad's not a grave robber, so
It's true, but also Indy obviously had tenure, and this guy doesn't. So it's not really a fair
They
comparison.
also might not have electricity in this house.
yeah.
No, that's
and you
right.
see like socks drying behind the wood burning stove and an old timey coffee pot on it. Like they're obviously kind of living like college students. They're kind of. It's not a refined household.
Is Indy's dad's Book of Kells, his little coloring book, is that ill-gotten booty?
No,
No, he didn't steal that from like an 8-year-old or something.
no,
Exactly. He traded a Spider-Man comic for it.
that's right. He might have lifted it out of special collections, and hid it under his newspaper or something. But no, I don't think so.
Well, it doesn't seem like he owns the book if he's copying it into his notebook.
I disagree.
Right.
I think many people copy
You
many
think
things.
that's like his little? That's his travel notebook that like he's gonna take with him. You know, he's gonna jot down the important pieces.
Yeah, all the clues are going in there that he puts together.
All right.
Yeah, because he can't actually travel with that book. So.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and then we get the sheriff comes in, and Indy seems very, very proud of himself. And I'm wondering, is this the moment when he thinks he's doing the right thing and he thinks he's about to be rewarded for good behavior, and we're about to find out he won't be? Is this the moment where Indy kind of starts to turn a little bit to the dark side? Like, is this when he realizes, you know what, I did the right thing, and look what it got me? Nothing.
Or even just like, this is like the first, like every time Belloc takes something from him for the rest of his life, it stings like back to this moment. Like, this is the first time that happened. Like, this is mine. I did the right, you just took it away from me. Monsters. It's always going to sting for that.
Yeah.
But I think this is where Indy turns to the dark side.
I can see
Wait,
that.
did he turn to the dark side? Wait a minute. When did he turn to the dark side?
Well, he's kind of an angry grave robber in Raiders, and Belloc even says, it just take you a nudge to make you just like me.
He does say that.
That's Belloc's point of view, though.
He's not like a super nice guy in Raiders.
Right.
And I think this might be the genesis of that.
I think it's more because his dad's a jerk. He doesn't have a dad. He
Yeah.
doesn't have a good father figure.
That's true.
That's true.
I mean, it all combines together.
Yeah.
In this. The sheriff sounded like he went to like the Sean Connery school of shushing his S's. Like, I'm glad to see that. You're brash. It's the only Connery impression I'm going to
No, but that's all you need. That's all you need.
Even the sheriff was doing his Sean Connery impression.
Yeah. Sean Connery's in the next room. That's James Bond.
Steven, you got to hear this. I'm going to sound just like him.
Pushy.
Stop it. We got to bleep that out. I wonder, like, Pete, I like where you're going with this. And what if this is where Indy develops his monomania, which is everything I get, no matter how it's procured, I have this one idea, is I'm going to shove it in a museum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no one else is ever going to get it from me.
Oh, yeah, I would believe that.
Legitimately, or if I acquire it illegitimately, it's like his entire thing is that belongs in a museum. Now, granted, he said that a few minutes prior,
didn't he?
But maybe this is just the stamp, and it notarizes that darkness. It's like, I don't care how I get it, where I get it, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to put it in a museum.
Yeah, the museum is base. The museum is like, I got it, and once it's in the museum, and I'm the one who put it there, I win.
It's got my name on it. It will always have my name on it.
Right, yeah.
Right.
So it's basically his. Like, he's basically storing up, treasure and
So
rewards.
Fortune and Glory?
Brought to you by
that's
Indiana
right.
Jones.
There you go. I thought the sheriff was, his hat was too big. He's got bugs on his tie, which I didn't understand. And he's really young.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm wondering is, why did they pick such a young feller to play the sheriff?
Well, Utah was a very new state at the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you know how like sheriffs
Recruiting out of high school.
and sheriffs back then, they only lived to 27.
That's not true. All of us are familiar with what a sheriff looks like. And he kind of rolls in, and he's kind of, you might spit out the side of his mouth.
I don't see any big gold
That's
star. Or
right.
anything.
I don't buy it. Maybe
He's got
not
a
even
silver
sheriff.
star on his tie.
Oh,
does he?
And he's got, I don't think he's that young. He's got a lot of crow's feet too.
That's always just like Pete. It's all about how you look.
Uh-huh. Well, actually, I brought that up there.
It's all about
okay. Well, his hat's too big anyway. So
Yeah, his hat is too big.
his hat's too big.
And this is a movie about hats.
It's true.
That's true.
What if the sheriff had put his hat on Indy right here? Would Indy become a sheriff?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
A corrupt one.
Or what about if half-breed had put his hat on him?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Then
Yeah.
what?
Then, what? Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
just,
don't know how that would have
it's
gone.
up in the air. No, nobody knows. He would have worked for Ancestry.com.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
You know what might have worked for me here is if the dog got up and bit everybody in the leg. But he didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't see any more of that dog, do we?
No.
No.
That's a shame. It's a good dog.
It's a good dog.
Yeah, he's a good dog.
We do see everybody else, though. Like, half the town crowds into the little living room there.
Yeah, there's like an extra guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a big deal in this town.
Yeah. There's a rumpus. There's a...
The most excitement that's happened in years.
Yeah. Do you see him in this? I'm trying to remember if you... Like, all these people file in. I'm just looking at... There's like an extra guy. There's like the...
There's a deputy.
5... Oh, okay. I guess he doesn't look like a deputy. This guy doesn't look like a sheriff, and the deputy doesn't look like a deputy. They look like, the bankers or something. Or
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a really big question here. I mean, how old is Indy here? How old is young Indiana Jones here? I know we talked about this a little bit, but you really get to see Indiana Jones here for a minute. And you're like, how old is he?
He's probably about 17.
I was saying 16-ish. Well, this is 1912, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's 1912, and if you believe that Wikipedia nonsense, Indiana Jones is born July 1st, 1899, which means he's 13 here.
Yeah,
which you're like, no way. No, he's actually like 26.
Yes, he is.
He is. He's like 26. Yeah. He is supposed to be 13 here.
No, he's not.
I could buy him as like movie 13.
No, you couldn't.
I mean, yeah, like he is like 26, but like
short round imbroglio where he's like 4.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah, the camera head's 10 years.
Yeah, the camera head's 10 years.
Well, he's no kind of 13. I put him at 15.
No, he's not.
No, I don't buy 13 either. Yeah, I'd say 16 or 17.
He is.
Are handsome kids just older? Do they just seem older because they're so dreamy? That sounded wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
just gonna. Anyway,
on that note,
putting the pervert bell.
Hey, wait a minute. Here's a proper segue to pull us out of this morass. Wait, something's coming through the wire. This just in.
Hey,
yes.
Wait, she's right here.
Oh no! Why no?
The universe is folding in on itself. Wait a minute.
It's a different wire.
Oh.
This just in from Mimi Porter Esquire.
Oh.
Esquire. So Indy's dad never finds out that Indy had the crucifix of Coronado.
Oh. Good point.
That's a good point.
Yeah, does Indy ever tell him?
I'm not sure he knows he has a son. Or a dog.
Boy.
Yeah.
I think he tells him later. I think he tells him at dinner, and his dad's like, "Sure, son, sure thing."
Right.
I mean, he never finds out. There's no
Kind of crush him.
I mean, Dad, you know what he says to him? He said, "Dad, I had it in my hands. I had it in my hands." Do you want to hear about it? Not at all.
I sincerely don't want to hear about it. Eat your peas.
I don't even think they have dinner.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
They're eating out of cans of dog food.
Yeah, get a possum or something.
Baby Porkins. You never see him again.
Wait, we do in Raiders.
Oh, yeah, we see him in Raiders.
Well, sure.
Well, if that's all that everybody has for minute 11, we can collect our things, pack them up, and then come back here tomorrow for minute 12. How does that sound?
That sounds great.
All right.
Perfect.
In the meantime, please, everybody, find us online. Come visit us over at the Indiana Jones Minute and the Listener's Crusade over on Facebook, where you can tell us, yes, it's absolutely an Alaskan Malamute, or it's not. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. That's just how I remember hearing it. And please come back here again tomorrow for minute 12 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.
Chris, sir, we look like baby Porkins.
Why have I been friends with you this whole time? I stuck through you through the Porkins years.
Thanks.